It seems to me that a lot of the current events are occurring in conjunction with one another. After all, nothing ever happens in a vacuum. I believe that the recent developments in the monetary system, particularly with regard to silver and gold, are closely related to the Genius Act, the use of stable coinage, and the massive push in that new direction. Aside from the technicals, I believe that this is part of what we are seeing, as there will be a stronger push once we break through this level of resistance and reach a new high. Furthermore, silver exhibits a massive cup shape. As far as I'm aware, this is the largest double cup formation that has ever been observed. Even if you rewind to the 1980s, this is amazing. Therefore, I believe that the spot silver market will likely reach that $50 resistance level by the year's end or soon after. I would like it if it went through it. Even if it's just for a minute, you'll get some exercise once it runs through it. Yeah, and silver is still very much underpriced compared to its intrinsic worth. Since it is both a precious metal and a major industrial metal, silver always seems to me to be walking a very interesting tightrope. Therefore, it is always the inverse of what it is called anytime something is given such a name. Keep in mind that I've been researching currency cycles and value creation since 1987. Many fail to understand that the new system, which was not finalized when that act was enacted, is still ongoing. What I'm saying does not imply that, oh, this was a no big deal. I want everyone to realize that. Our focus has just shifted, and that's fine. That's not how it works. However, adoption is a prerequisite, and they accomplished it between 2009 and the time they signed the Genius Act. Even more people are buying into them, and soon we will all be compelled to do the same. This is such a strong emotion for me, but I am positive that there is absolutely no room for doubt. Of course, I could be completely mistaken. And usually, whenever I have these kinds of feelings, I'm absolutely correct. Time is relative, yet this is something I'm always correct about. Increasing the supply of fiat currency is directly proportional to the relative ease and low cost of creating new money. In 1914, when the Federal Reserve was established, business debt was utilized to create a large amount of money. This process is reminiscent of how company balance sheets were converted into Federal Reserve notes. Between 1913 and 1917, the purchasing power of the average person fell by about half. Since they were decriminalized at the year's end of 1913, the genuine beginning occurred in 1914. You can see the 10-to-1 ratio though, and that actually began in 1914. Companies are teaming up to establish this industry once again because, well, guess who stands to gain? Companies now just print more money. First, it increases the total amount of money in circulation. Second, and I've said it before, it's about making up demand for dollars in a way that doesn't exist, considering it was formerly backed by gold and is now backed by oil. Stable coinage will now have to support the dollar so it retains some value, and these firms will also be compelled to purchase treasuries. It is my utmost concern that we have already technically entered a period of hyperinflation based on the M2 velocity, and this is in addition to the government's transition from a paper debt-based system to a digital purchase-based system, which is the focus here. Look at this. With this instrument, we can welcome it. It's the main thing that worries me. I was present when Nixon weaned the country off the gold standard, and now it's done. Of course, I wasn't exactly an adult. I was probably 17 years old. I had reached an age where I could comprehend things to a certain degree, and my family was very intelligent. I used to enjoy sitting back and listening to them chat about the Great Depression and World War II as they played penny ante poker. These were the topics of conversation between them. But what do they really say? Well, that won't be affected by this. The fact that we have recently implemented a brand new system proves that it is. The moment you become aware of it, you would have become completely absorbed into it, rendering you powerless. Hence, they would prefer that you not know about it. You should start making plans right away. Having physical gold and silver on hand is a must, because I can assure you with absolute certainty that hyperinflation is on the horizon. I would recommend calling us first so that we can assist you in becoming more educated on your own. However, I am a member of the Advisory Board for Citizens for Sound Money, which is part of a larger movement for sound money on a worldwide scale. In my opinion, this is a once-in-a-generation chance to restore credibility to the monetary system following its collapse. My grandson is just 12 years old, but he has a great grasp of basic financial principles, so I'm excited to see him join the next generation. Silver is something he enjoys amassing. He persuaded me to sell him gold all day long for $15 per coin. However, his desire to participate is genuine. Thus, it's about having these discussions, joining the Citizens for Sound Money movement, and learning how you can become involved in your local government to restore sound money. Given that this is the true target of the struggle, I'm not a fan. I'm getting on in years. Yes, I do. What I have accomplished for myself has alleviated whatever concerns I may have had concerning my family. Because protecting the future of our children is the greatest battle we will ever face, this is for the sake of all future generations. And that was auctioned off across the river. Furthermore, I am not okay with it. What gives me some optimism is that even while it terrifies me that President Trump is thinking about allowing other assets in pension systems, like cryptocurrency, he's also suggesting physical gold and silver. Because he is a transformational president, I believe he is delivering something he knows would be harmful. There is no longer any value in the currency, hence this change is necessary. Meanwhile, I believe he is also equipping you with the means to safeguard yourself by permitting and promoting the use of gold and silver within those systems. That gives me hope because I believe that we can make a difference in the new system if we unite as a global community. So we need to act locally and globally. Why? Because they can't utilize gold as a currency's backing. At those unmanageable levels, the debt is fixed once you do it. You must have a free balance sheet before you can dive headfirst into this new system. In order to fully accept and enter the new system, you must first eliminate the trash from the previous one. I think it's important for people to grasp that. Gold and silver do nothing more than preserve your purchasing power within this antiquated system that, in my opinion, and I've said this since 2008 without a doubt, died in 2008. After that, you'll be able to put some money toward purchases in the new system. In all candor, though, chances do present themselves between these 2 points. Opportunities will arise when the prices of these assets, which are now extremely overpriced, fall to more reasonable levels. I think it's important for folks to realize that what we're witnessing and dealing with here is just a rehash of past events. So, if you can figure out what's going on, you can position yourself to profit from this burnout and the inflation that has been injected into the system due to the massive printing of money. Plus, I can guarantee that whenever I do it, people laugh because it's so funny. The important thing for people to realize is that creating this money, whether digitally or physically, doesn't cost anything. Because of its inherent worthlessness, that money eventually goes to zero. The money supply is augmented by central banks and governments. Making $100 bills costs 9.2 cents, give or take. I can't believe it. That distinction is theirs to retain. Isn't that being paid to them? Plus, they've spent the last 4 years submerged. Now we're in year 4. They are expected to send any extra revenue to the government from all that money they make. But for the past 4 years, they have been unable to do so. This has led to a zombie government that is propped up by zombie central banks, which in turn are propped up by zombie corporations. The only way out of this mess is to hyperinflate everything. Moving forward, it is not a picnic. A solid foundation of money is necessary for all people since it is independent of governments and central banks. It will remain even after inflation. Furthermore, what supports stable coins? $1. In your opinion, how much longer do you believe the value of the US dollar will remain stable? After 20, 30, or 40 years, how long do you see it lasting? I believe the moniker can stay, but hyperinflation will be well known in the following 2 years. Nothing comes out of it. Prior to joining the Federal Reserve System, we possessed dollars. The name remains unchanged. Dollars were created following Bretton Woods. From 1971 onwards, we have dollars. We have cash on hand. This has no bearing. I mean, it's only a name. Why? Because right now, no one has cleaner eyes than them. The audience has always been a part of my work, but I can never truly put myself in their shoes. Therefore, I am unaware of anything crucial that you are missing out on. However, a new employee does. This is relevant since I was in Florida a few weekends ago for a meeting with Citizens for Sound Money, where we met with Byron. It is imperative that you rectify this. No matter what, you must constantly mention him. His last name eludes me every time. It is my current focus. It is my current focus. You have my gratitude. I understand. Our group, Citizens for Sound Money, recently traveled to Florida, a state that has just recognized gold and silver as legal tender, to meet with Byron Donalds, a candidate for governor whom President Trump has endorsed. The meeting was just amazing. I had never done it before, but we didn't have much time. Even though they passed, we still have some work to do, so the meeting was productive. It was only very recently that the first state, Missouri, legalized the practice of paying state taxes with precious metals. That is why it is so sweet to me. Things are looking up for us. There has been improvement. Curiously, after that, we had lunch with the Citizens for Sound Money instead of Byron, and I was chatting with Daniel Diaz, the movement's senior lobbyist, and I repeated everything I had told you to him. New hires are completely inexperienced and unsure on how to proceed. You have the purest eyes. I don't know when exactly, but we're going to start a live extra program where he will show me how to become active in local politics. Not only tell me that he has. Also, I'm still really nervous about this. It remains something of a mystery to me. Use me, I proclaimed. Put me to work for you. Since we are all obligated to do this, we can teach each other. If we don't restore sound money to our system, we'll revert to a feudal system, and your children will be completely disadvantaged if they get their way. You will have no assets by the year 2030 World Economic Forum. I don't think you'll be pleased if you have to leave everything behind, even the cup you want to drink from. The transcription was performed by turboscribe.ai. To get rid of this message, go for unlimited.